Now you might want to collect these bolts and keep them grouped. When you start tearing these many bolts apart, they can all start looking the same. We got all driver's side bolts off. Now we're just left with passenger side. Oh, we got one back there. Didn't think I was going to get off that easy. Some short, some long, some bolts.
Do we have a pin?
Not on this cart.
Huh. Maybe we need to do that.
Yep. Alright, last bolt and this intake should pop up. At least the top part. This is a 3-piece manifold system. Okay, one half. You've done your job right. You should not have to really fight with this thing. Yeah, looks like the intake gasket was getting ready to go as well. Grab the camera, will you? So you notice that these gaskets are wet, which means they weren't sealing. We actually had a leak there. Yeah, so at the very least, this was due for an intake job. Let's see how this other one's doing. Yep, same thing. This one was leaking too, right there.
Where? Right here?
It's on the ragged edge of giving me a lean code. And don't throw away your gaskets as you're doing this. Keep everything that you tear apart until you're done with the job. Very important that you do that because you need to size gaskets and get the right thicknesses and all that kind of good stuff. If you throw them away, you're not going to have that. So one rule we have during a major teardown, we throw nothing away. And it's for this very reason, so we can size gaskets. Alright, I'm going to get this put off to the side. So burning a little bit of oil. So those of you who question about the oil consumption, we definitely have an issue, and I think we're going to find when we get the PCV valve, it's probably stuck open. Alright, before we go any farther, I want to show you this awesome system. After you get after about 4,000 RPMs, these valves start to open. So when they're shut, you're on torque. When they're short, or short run, that's for horsepower. This thing can consume a lot of air real quick. This is also a variable geometry valve train too, so, or variable camshaft, excuse me. One thing we're going to do when we get this out is there's actually been a trouble safety bulletin about these screws backing out. So we're actually going to take them out. We're going to put red Loctite, drive them back in. But that's pretty much it. At full vacuum or full throttle, wide open, medium or light load, those are shut, and it makes the air go all the way around for torque. Pretty cool, huh? Alright, now we're going to pull the second piece of this manifold. Now there's a reason why you can't pull this in one chunk, because you got a bunch of bolts through here. So you got to pull the upper, replace the gaskets, you got to pull the lower, you got another set of gaskets, and then you got the actual lower intake manifold. Alright, start popping bolts. These feel a little stranger. Alright, I'm going to separate the lower manifold bolts from the upper. But one thing I do find kind of odd, they actually have blue Loctite down here. It's going to lead to tell me this intake's been off once before. Imports don't use blue Loctite, they use white. That's why it was kind of gummy coming out. So, I'm going to say this thing's had this intake off once. I'm going to deep socket on that one. Yeah, it's interesting the things you find when you do deep teardowns that you would never know otherwise. Alright, let's see this one. I'll get this one down here first. Then we'll go back to our short. Ah. I don't know if the stud's coming up on that one. Looks like we got a bracket back here we're going to have to pop.
Did you get it off?
Whew. Thought I was going to break the tool. Now, for some reason that bracket didn't move.
I heard a bing. Oh god.
So far this teardown hasn't been too bad. Now there's a bracket in the back I am not sure about because I can't hardly see it. So we're going to take the last bolt off and see if this thing even moves. You know, the key here is don't force anything. There's nothing to force. I mean, this thing, if everything is removed, all the fasteners removed, you should not have any problems pulling it up. So I see a lot of people get into troubles. They get frustrated. Now I gotta see why they put blue Loctite here. This thing may have had a fuel injector go bad on it. Yeah, this one's got blue on it too. Alright, let's see what survey says. As I said, don't force anything. There's actually a bolt back here. Right here. I'll put an arrow up now because I'm not going to be able to show it to you, but it's definitely there. So it's 2 bolts. It probably bolts to the block and holds the bottom of the intake in. Alright, well I know I can feel it's 12, so let's get that bolt off. So far this has been the worst bolt to get at. I've had to use 3 different 12s. Trying to get on it. I'm seeing the bracket move. We're almost there. Now if we don't lose this bolt, we'll be good.
Let's hope it's magnetic.
All that strife for this bolt. I don't normally bag my bolts, but this one I'm making an exception because these are all lower intake bolts.
Alright.
Alright, you should be able to pull that thing up as one fail sloop.
Yeah, you should. Hopefully. Row. Another bolt.
No, we got this water hose in the back.
You're gonna have to disconnect that?
Yeah. Like I said, this thing will pull up nice as soon as we get it all undone, but I knew this thing had a bunch of coolant hoses on the back. Yeah, I can see it move with it.
Nice. So how are you gonna get it out?
Well, I got 2 options. Either I disconnect it from the manifold, because it looks like it's a crossover tube, which is probably probably what we're gonna do. I had to cut this hose in the back. It's getting replaced anyway, so I don't really care.
Cutting the hose. Now what else is going to...
Oh.
Oh. Hey, so I was holding it out.
You have to pull evenly. You can't just pull from the top because it's the stud here.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Nice to know. Right here.
Well, the good thing is the hose I clipped is vacuum. That's fine with me. Holy crap.
Wow.
That was quite the feat there. The hose that I had to cut, that's the hose I cut right there. So
yeah, look at his hand.
yeah, that got me good. But it's the PCV valve. That's getting replaced for sure. Because I see some oil ingestion, and that's usually because the valve gets stuck. And then from there, instead of it swallowing vapors, it swallows oil. And we've seen this with a number of Nissans, so this is pretty common. Alright, I'm going to pull this gasket up and see if I see a Felpro part number on it. This gasket's shot. I don't think I'm going to do the lower. There's another manifold below this, but I'm not seeing any signs of oil leaking around the manifold port. I don't see a Felpro number on here, so I don't know. It's really odd to see blue Loctite here though. So what I was saying with the blue Loctite, there shouldn't be blue Loctite. Nissan doesn't use blue Loctite, so I know this intake's been off once. Why? Well, that could be anybody's guess. I'm going to look at the fuel injectors and see if there's any different colors, or like, you know, if one injector is replaced, you'll have like 3 or 4 black and then 1 gray. So it's hard to say, but this has been off before, I can tell you that much.